What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Chris. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm a producer, musician, and music video filmmaker based in Orlando, Florida. I'm here in my brand new studio, which you should totally check out here after this video. 2023 is in full swing, and I'm back with another Tutorial Tuesday where I go over music making tips and tricks in 10 minutes or less. Hopefully. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 different pop vocal effects as fast as I can, so no more time wasted. Let's get it. So as a baseline vocal chain, I'm using all the techniques I showed you here in this video on how to get pro level pop vocals. But if you want to add extra sauce to your mix, we can make a creative decision to take this vocal a few different ways. So here are a solid 3 to choose from. 1, slapback delay. 2, radio vocal, and 3, BOXY vocal or a ROOMY vocal. And the vocal I'll be using here is from my recent cover of Justin Bieber's Holy, which you can also watch here. You can use these kinds of effects on a rap vocal, which I'll be showing you in this tutorial, or you can use it on any pop singing vocal. It's really up to you, whatever creative decision you want to make. Alright, so I'm here in my project and I have all 3 vocal chains set up for you, but I also have the dry vocal here for reference, so it sounds like this.
We are believers in shattered souls. On silent nights, our palms stay tight to keep us from the cold. Some lose their faith along the way, and that's just how it goes. But with every storm, it comes a rainbow with a pot of gold. So say.
Alright, so that's how the dry vocal sounds by itself. Obviously, nothing on it, very dry, very boring. So I'm going to move right on to the slapback delay. Now the slapback delay is a good technique to use to add some thickness and some width to your vocals. And it kind of almost acts like a really short reverb. The idea is that the delay happens very quickly after the vocal. So it's like a very quick delay versus a quarter note delay or a half note delay that is more for a ballad feel, and it happens much later. So this one almost acts like a vocal double that's a little bit off timing just to add some thickness, and it can add some bounce to your vocal as well. So this is how it sounds soloed.
We are believers in shattered souls. On silent nights, our palms stay tight to keep us from the cold. Some lose their faith along the way, and that's just how it goes. But
Alright, so you can hear a little bit of that delay happening really quickly in the background. This is what it sounds without it.
we are believers in shattered souls. On silent nights, our palms stay tight to keep us from the cold. Some lose their faith along the way, and that's just how it goes. But with every storm, it comes a rainbow with a pot of gold.
So you can really hear the difference as I turn off and on that delay send. So I'm going to go over that delay real quick for you. So what I do is I send that vocal to a bus in which I put the delay on. In this case, I'm using the Waves H delay. You can really use any delay that you want. You can use any stock delay that you have in your DAW, and especially if it's a stereo delay. This one is not. So what I had to do is I had to put a really short delay, which is 161 milliseconds right now. And then I usually sidechain my delays back to the original vocal. That way it doesn't delay while the original vocal is playing, because that's going to sound really crazy and really busy. So you want that delay just to happen between every phrase and every word. For this one, since it's not a stereo delay, I have a pan man on it, which means the delay is going from left to right, just to add a little bit of bounce. But if you don't have pan man or H delay, you can use something like the Logic stereo delay instead, and then you would mess with the settings so that the delay is happening really, really short.
we are believers in shattered souls. On silent nights, our palms stay tight to keep us from the cold. Some lose their faith along the way, and that's just how it goes. But with every storm, it comes a rainbow with a pot of gold. So say less.
So something like that you can do with a stock plugin like Logic stereo delay, which allows you to change the delay time from the left and right channels. Alright, so moving on to the radio vocals, it's exactly how it sounds. It's that classic, very, very old school sounding, distorted radio vocal that everyone likes to use. A lot of times I'll use this on my background vocals as an additive to the main vocal chain. But if you're getting really creative and depending on what the song calls for, you can use this as the main technique. So all it is you're going to have your main vocal chain, and then you're going to add a distortion plugin. In this case, I'm using RC20. And so all I did was pick the vinyl preset, added a lot of distortion, and then you take any EQ that you want. I like to use the R EQ because it has a little bit of character to it. It adds a little bit of that vintage sound. And then I basically just added a bandpass filter to it, which means I have a low cut and a high cut going on at the same time. So I'm going to solo this vocal and I'm going to show you what it sounds like when I add in these two plugins. All right, so without them.
We are believers in shattered souls. On silent nights, our palms stay tight to keep us from the cold. Some lose their faith along the way, and that's just how it goes. But with every storm, it comes a rainbow with a pot of gold. So
as you can see, as I add in the distortion and as I add in the bandpass filter, it really cuts it down to that radio vocal sounding effect. Super easy to do. And if you don't have RC20, you can pick any distortion plugin that is stock with your DAW. So
we are believers in shattered souls. On silent nights, our palms stay tight to keep us from the cold. Some lose their faith along the way, and that's just how it goes.
And I did that with the stock overdrive plugin in Logic. And finally, moving on to the BOXY vocal. So the BOXY vocal is definitely a technique that you want to use as a creative decision, because most people will try to take all the BOXY frequencies out of their vocals. You can hear this kind of style of vocal sometimes depending on the song, like with Billie Eilish, or it kind of sounds like it to me in the new Miley Cyrus Flowers song. It kind of gives it that old school vintage feel, but not as much as the radio vocal. So all you have to do, again, you're going to use your basic chain. And what I do is I add a short reverb, which is going to be the Valhalla vintage reverb here. Anything under 2 seconds. It could probably even be shorter than what I have it here at the 1.62 seconds. But I add a lot of that reverb here. And then all I'm going to do is boost the mid frequency. So about the 250 to 900 hertz range is usually that muddy, roomy, boxy sound that people try to attenuate and take out when they're producing vocals. But if you want to have this kind of effect, which can be cool in certain cases, that's how you're going to do it. I'm going to show you without all of those.
We are believers in shattered souls. On silent nights, our palms stay tight to keep us from the cold.
As you can see, it sounds pretty clean. And then when I add in the reverb and the boosted mid-range frequencies.
We are believers in shattered souls. On silent nights, our palms stay tight to keep us from the cold. Some lose their faith along the way, and that's just how it goes.
So it becomes a little bit more boxy and a little bit more roomy. A lot of heavy stuff going on in the mid-range. And then it's very kind of reverby, very old school style, 80s, maybe 70s style music. And that's kind of how you get that boxy, roomy effect. Before I go, I just want to make a quick announcement. I am extremely excited to share that I am officially a Cuts Clothing ambassador for 2023. After being an ambassador for 2 years, I've seen the program go through so many changes, and I'm glad to say that this year I officially made the cut. By now, you know how important fashion is to me, especially since music and fashion go hand in hand. And as a creative entrepreneur constantly on the go, I absolutely need something stylish and comfortable at the same time. Cuts is all of that and more. And if you don't believe me, check them out for yourself with my code HOPZABELEDA for 15% off at checkout. This is Cuts. Half of my closet is Cuts. Everything I wear on airplanes is Cuts. I can't say enough about how comfortable and stylish these clothes are. So definitely give them a go, check them out, hit that link in my description. And that's it, super quick one today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you like this kind of content and want to see more, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button, it really, really helps. And other than that, until next time, it's your boy Chris, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.